Thank you for tuning in to the Patricia Show. My name is Patricia. Please press like, subscribe, and share this audio with someone who you may think needed. So now, last week I was telling you about Jesus' death. So when I was telling you that I had went to the Catholic Church and they were really focusing on Jesus' death. I never really did understand that. So one time I went to Church in God. I don't know if it was Church in God of Christ, but it was a holiness church. And they were the only thing for a whole hour and a half. The preacher said he died and he rose. That's all he was saying. He died and he rose. You know what I'm saying? For a whole hour. And people was just screaming and falling out loud and oh, he died and he rose. Oh, he died. I'm not sure. And I was sitting there thinking, why are they doing this? What are the people getting out of this? Are they trying to get, I didn't know what they were trying. They were trying to make people focus, like they're taking your mind off of what he taught and making you focus more on the emotional aspect of things, not his teaching. And nobody was even concerned about what he taught. They were perfectly fine to go through an hour. He died and he rose. And at the Catholic Church, like I said, they walk around the whole church going, they claim it's the same steps, that he took. And, his hand was, when they nailed his hand to the cross and all of this. But I was just looking like nobody is teaching what actually happened. Now, when I went to the Muslim church or temple, back then they were teaching what happened. They would give you a teaching, like how many approximately people were there, and what Jesus. They just kind of set up the environment to like what was going on. But they didn't know what he taught, so they didn't tell you anything of his words of what he taught. They were just telling you what were going on. How the Romans, what they felt about Jesus, the Jewish people felt about Jesus, kind of give you a setup of what's going on. I've never heard them say, okay, this is from the lost gospels or whatever, or this is what we know that Jesus taught. Because what they're referring to is the traditional Bible that's using that as a record of, to say this is what he taught. But like I've told you all this before, the traditional Bible, in that Bible, the different books, none of those people ever even talked to Jesus. Though from that book, the traditional Bible, they're speaking of Jesus in the fifth, sixth, seventh person. It's like you told me about it, and then Cassandra told you, and then Barbara told you, and you told Barbara, and Barbara told Sam, and Sam told Patricia. You know what I mean? It's like that. None of those people ever had direct contact with Jesus in the traditional Bible. None of them. So if they knew about these gospels, look like they would be really good to play that. I mean, to, let you know what that said, because they would say, hey, this is firsthand. This was buried. These people buried these documents because they were going to be murdered if they continued to read them. So these are direct words from Jesus. No. Because when it was taken to the church about these lost gospels, the church, the bishops of the church, whoever that is, or the Catholic Church, who decides what the public's going to hear and what you're not going to hear, they said that these were not in alignment to what they were teaching. So they would not release it to the people, nor would they put it in a book, or put it in the traditional Bible, put it in the Bible as a maybe another book or something like that, and let the people judge for themselves. No, they just simply wasn't going to teach it or pass it on to the people because it didn't align with what they said. Well, people, wake up now, because if something don't align with what they say, aren't you going to get suspicious? What do you mean align with what you say? We want to know what Jesus really taught. If it's anywhere on this planet, I want to know what he said. But see, why would you say that? Because they already had you brainwashed to think that this little bitty information that you're getting from the traditional Bible came from Jesus. Like, for instance, they said that Jesus said, upon my rock, upon this rock, I'll build my church. If he said that, then why isn't it in any of these lost gospels? There is nothing, not one thing in any of these lost gospels where Jesus talks about building a church, that you should build a church. And all of these teachings are all in alignment. And all of them is teaching that the kingdom of heaven is within you. Jesus even says in one of the quotes, and that wasn't one that we had just went over, but we're going to go over some more of them. But in one of the quotes, Jesus even says that the kingdom of heaven is not in a building. It is not in wood. It is within you. So he's telling you right then that if you could go to a church, but it ain't in there. God ain't there. You could go to a building, but God ain't there. He said it's not in a building and it's not in wood. So clearly, people are beginning to wake up because something is wrong in the church, and you're beginning to question it. And the reason I say that is because so many churches are closing. There's 1 year, I think they said 17,000 churches closed. So now if they're closing, that's because people aren't going. But why are you stop going? That's because something you feel isn't right. So you're beginning to question and ask questions. And you need to ask questions. Some people go to church all day, all night. Their life still don't change. I remember a long time ago, this lady came to me and was telling me she really wanted to change her life. And people were telling her that just to read her Bible every day and read a couple of verses and she would change her life. She said her life had not changed. I gave her some inner exercises to do. This lady called me back because I was doing an iPod radio show on Blog Talk years ago, back in 2029. And this, not 29, 2009. And this lady, she kept calling me on the show, telling me everything, what I was telling her to do was working. Her life was changing. She was getting inner peace. She was feeling more love. All of this. But when they told her to just read her Bible and read the verses, she wasn't feeling anything. Wasn't anything changing. And then a lot of you notice how these preachers are begging for money. Oh, you got to give God money. God don't need your money. God is money. Money is energy. Everything on this planet is energy. So how do God need your money? People need to wake up because they tell you, oh, if you be blessed, if you bless the church, you're going to be blessed. And then you find out that you bless the church and you still ain't blessed. Because can't you see that they're lying to you? They're misleading you. I hate to use the word lie, but it's true. They're misleading you. One lady told me, or I had a couple of people tell me this. They wanted to go within. They didn't really know what that meant. And then they told me that they don't have special psychic gifts or nothing. So they don't know how to go within and listen to God. It doesn't take a special gift for you to do that. It is your divine birthright. And with practice, you'll be able to do it perfectly. You'll be able to go within, which is simply focusing your attention within yourself. Focus your attention, go to your heart. Oh no, better yet, go to the middle of your chest and just focus your attention inside of your body. Just focus your attention there. You can ask God questions or whatever, but just go far back in your body as you could go. Just go as far back. And then just try to listen. Open, have your your ear in a listening mode. And just say, God, please guide me. Just say it. If you can't hear nothing, just still say it. He hear you. God, guide me to the truth. Guide me to wisdom. Guide me to knowledge. God, help me. Go within yourself and say that. Just sit there 15 minutes a day, every day, and focus in your heart. In the back, go back as far as you can. Put your attention inside of you as far as you can in the middle of your chest. That's what going within means. Focusing your attention inside of yourself. That is what going within yourself means. Just focus your attention inside of yourself. When you have a question, just focus that. Don't even worry about hearing. Just worry about connecting with God hear you first. And then once you go back and just say, God, guide me. I don't know if I can hear you, God, but I know you can hear me. So lead and guide me on the right path. Guide me where love can come in my life. Just do your request first. Just do that first. Don't even try to listen at first. Just try to give your request. And do that till you feel really comfortable with doing that. And then later, when you want something, you could say, like for instance, if you met a guy, this happened. This is what I was. I would meet a guy, and if I wanted to know if he was right for me, I would go in that area where I just told you, in the heart, in the chest, focus my attention way back, and I would say, God, I met this guy. If he's for me, God, pull him close to me. But if he's not for me, pull him away. And sure enough, within 24 hours, he would usually be pulled away. Now, if I had a question, I would say, God, let me feel this in my feeling world. So what would happen is I could be going through the house cooking or something, not thinking about it. And then I'm going to feel the answers. I'm going to feel the answer. So therefore, I know it's from God because I've asked him to let me feel it in my feeling world. And I could be cleaning up the house and all of a sudden this feeling to come over me. Oh, that ain't right, or this ain't right, or whatever, I asked for. You have to start gradually and then build yourself up. We are very powerful beings. And in 2026, it is time to take our life back. Take our life back from the darkness. Take our life back from institutional. Take our life back from the church. And give our life to God and walk in the light of God. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Patricia Show.